do. Come on. Some of you sitting there saying, well, when I overcome this fear or when I overcome this, then I will. And God is sitting there saying, I need you to move in spite of fear. Come on. That's what it means to be courageous. Courageous and having courage doesn't mean that we move even when we know everything will work out. No, being courageous is sitting there saying, I will move and will maneuver and step out on faith and do the things that God has called me to do, even when I have some fear and anxiety on the inside of me. Come on. And dear brothers and sisters, Paul learned to maneuver and move even when you have fear, frustration, anxiety, and wishing people didn't know on the inside of you. Come on. We might not know what Paul's shortcoming was, or his thorn in his flesh, but it lets us know that no matter what you are dealing with, to still trust God. Come on. And the first thing that we see about grace is that grace will make you grow. Grace will make you grow. It says it's because of the extravagance of these revelations, of those revelations. And so I wouldn't get a big head. I was given the gift of a handicap to keep me in constant touch with my limitations. Come on. So Paul was a man of God, but Paul was given something by God that would make him better and not bitter. Woo! Let me say that again. Paul was given something that would make him better and not, come on, bitter. And sometimes as Christians and sometimes as men and women of God, we become bitter because we still are dealing with blank. Come on. We get bitter because we've had an issue of blood for 30 some odd years. Come on. We've been bitter because we sat at the pool of Bethesda at some 30 some odd years. We get bitter because we've been blind for since our birth. We get bitter instead of realizing that God is making us, come on, better. Dear brothers and sisters, I don't know what you're dealing with, but I do know that, watch this, you can become better even with the stuff that you're dealing with. Come on. Because when you go through things, are you saying to yourself that God is trying to make me better? Or are you walking around becoming bitter about your situation? Come on. It didn't just happen to Paul, but it also happened to Job, where God gave them something to be successful as well as humble. You see, dear brothers and sisters, God wants you to be successful. He wants you to reach your goals. He wants you to reach your dreams, but he also wants you to remain humble. Come on. Come on. He also wants you to remain humble. So sometimes for many of us or some of us, he has to withhold certain things in order to keep us humble. Come on. Because y'all know it. You would get the big head. Come on. You would be overconfident. You would think it's all about you. And God is sitting there saying, no, I need to make sure you remain humble. Come on. And sometimes it's just part of the process. Come on. What you go through is just part of the process. There's a story of a young girl, and this young girl found a cocoon hanging from a limb. So she took it to her room at home, and she placed it in a jar, expecting one day to see a butterfly emerge. Come on. So one day she saw the butterfly within the cocoon trying to get out. So she had this epiphany. She saw it struggling and trying to push his way out of the tight opening. And in an effort to help the insect, she very carefully slit open the cocoon. After that, the butterfly was able to easily exit the cocoon But a strange thing happened. Instead of spreading two beautiful wings, the butterfly had two withered, shriveled, useless wings. Why? Because watch this. God designed the butterfly and its cocoon so that the tight opening would strengthen, come on, and straighten its wings. And without the pressure of the tight opening, the butterfly was robbed of the beauty of his wings. And more importantly, he was robbed of the ability to fly into the sky. And dear brothers and sisters, what happens, come on, when sometimes you don't go through the process, when you don't go through the difficult situations of your lives, come on, you do not develop the strength to be the individual that God has called you to be. Come on, that's why sometimes you shouldn't avoid certain things. You should sit there and say, God, if you meant for me to go through it, I will go through it in order to become the Christian and better individual on the other side. Come on, we're not saying the process is comfortable. We're not saying the process will be all easy, but what we are saying and what I am saying is that the process will be worth it. Come on. Grace will make you grow. It will make you a stronger Christian, dear brothers and sisters. Come on. And watch this. Please understand. Paul tells us why he was able to soar above the heads of most other believers in his day. And he tells us that it was the pain and the suffering that he endured that gave him the power to be the man he is today. Come on. We sit there and says, go through the process. We sit there and says, dear brothers and sisters, I'm not saying the valley of the shadow of death will be great, but just know that God will be with you. Come on. In your dark days, God will be with you. In your trying tribulations, God will be with you. Your friends might not be there with you. Your mom, your dad, your brother, whoever it is might not be with you. But trust me, dear brothers and sisters, God will be with you. And his grace is sufficient. It's going to make you grow. It's going to make you walk with your heads up. It's going to make you sit there and say, God, I trust you. But not only will grace make you grow, grace will make you grateful. Woo! Come on. Grace will make you grateful. It says this, at first, I didn't think of it as a gift and begged God to remove it. 3 times I did that. And then he told me, my grace is enough. It's all you need. Once I heard that, I was glad to let it happen. Come on. Come on. I was glad that it happened. The definition of God's grace, according to Webster, is an act of kindness, courtesy, or clemency. Come on. And as I thought about this, I thought about it in a quick moment about Paul, how Paul forgot who he was talking to. Come on. In a moment, Paul sits there and says, God, I want you to take this away from me. Come on. Paul sits there and says, I want you to remove this. And Paul says, at first, he didn't think it would benefit him. Come on. But grace is sit there and says, it is an act of kindness, courtesy, or clemency. So at first, he didn't think it was a good thing. But then he realized this ain't that bad. Come on. Dear brothers and sisters, you ever fight going through traffic? You ever fight going through a long line to get your food? And watch this. whether it's traffic or your food, if you had sat there and said, I don't want to go this route, you might have missed out on something. Come on. I've sat there and avoided traffic. And by me trying to avoid traffic, it took me longer to get home than had I just stayed and waited on things to clear. Come on. And Paul sits there and says that, watch this, I realize that it was good for me and I am grateful that it happened. Come on. Dear brothers and sisters, many of us at first didn't think our job closing or was a good thing. Many of us didn't think that breakup was a good thing. Come on. Many of us didn't think that accident was a good thing. But watch this. When we look back at those things and see where God has brought us to, we realize that we are grateful that we went through it. Come on. At first, it didn't look good, but then we realized that all things work together for the good of those who are called according to his purpose. Paul says, I'm grateful now that I went through it. Come on. And how many of you can sit there and say, and look back over your life and sit there and say, God, I'm grateful. Woo. Come on. God, I am grateful that I went through the process. I am grateful that I went through these things. Come on. Grace is at the foundation of Christianity. Come on. Grace is a reminder of the sufficiency of God. Grace sits there and says, God had our back. Come on. And dear brothers and sisters, what I want you to know is that God had your back. Are you grateful for the stuff that you went through? Come on. When many of us look back over our lives, we will appreciate things like never before. Come on. Throughout the Bible, dear brothers and sisters, men and women became better because they trusted God. Come on. I remember when David was a young lad. I remember when David was a little boy. Come on. We all remember about David fighting Goliath. But how did David get to that scene? How did David get to that camp? David ended up fighting Goliath because originally he was called to take food to his brothers. Let me say that again. David was originally called, according to Scripture, to take food to his brother. He wasn't originally called to fight Goliath. But God set things up and orchestrated for David so that he could be at the right place at the right time. Come on, dear brothers and sisters. You might not understand why you're at that job. You might not understand why you're driving that car. You might not understand why you're in that house. But dear brothers and sisters, trust God and know that he is orchestrating things and setting things up in alignment to set you up for something that you do not see right now. And be grateful after the fact if you're not going to be grateful in it. Woo. Come on. Some of you aren't grateful right now, but when God brings you out to the other side, I want you to make sure you at least then show God some gratitude. Show God some appreciation. Show God the fact that you love him. Come on. You probably can't show your gratefulness now, but when God brings you out, dear brothers and sisters, make sure you do like Paul and sit there and say, God, I appreciate you. God, I love you. God, I thank you. I didn't understand at that moment, but I understand it now, and I'm grateful of the fact that you brought me this far.